your success in corporate world. So, starting a new chapter of learning, I, Division, being your host for today's event, wants to extend a warm greetings and good morning to all of you present here. I hope you all are doing amazing. On behalf of the whole SEMS family, I welcome you all for today's international webinar on the campus to corporate transition. And to add our guest of honor and today's speaker, Shikha Gupta. It is a great honor to have you with us, ma'am. We are grateful for your presence. So before I proceed, let me take a moment for the introduction of my organization. SAMS Welfare Foundation is a non-profit entity established to work in the areas of education, social welfare, women empowerment, skill development, entrepreneurship, livelihood generation and employability, health, research, culture, international cooperation, sports, environment protection, or any other similar sectors. We promote healthy lives, a balanced and active community, and strong businesses. Now, let me introduce our today's speaker to you all. She is an HR leader with experience across a range of human resources function in the IT sector, product and services. She has strong background in corporate HR activities, organizational development, and effective communication at all levels, innovative problem solving, and other facilities designed to enhance productivity and profitability. She leads and motivating the HR function and ensuring that it provides a consistent quality-driven service to the organization in coordination with internal and external departments for smooth business operations. She is an effective communicator with excellent relationship building and interpersonal skills, excellent verbal and written communication skills in French, English, and Hindi. So before starting with today's event, there are some ground rules which our participants need to obey and follow them. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat box. We will answer every question in the end. Second, every participant is requested to keep their mic mute. Now over to you, ma'am. You may start the session.
Sure. Thank you so much. Am I visible? Just a moment.
Yes, ma'am. You are visible and audible.
I just want to remove the background. Just give me a second, please. Okay. Yeah, visible and audible, right? Thank you very much, SEMS Group, for having me here and a very large and generous introduction. Basically, I love HR, HR by passion, HR by profession. That's who I am. And it's an honor to be addressing the SEMS Group. So today's topic, I mean, campus season is round the corner, right? And I'm glad you picked this up for a discussion. There's a lot of stuff available on the internet everywhere, right? As to what are the do's and don'ts, what should students keep in mind, what should they practice, what should they ignore, and stuff like that. But I'm not going to give you any sort of a gyan from the internet. I will tell you from my personal experience as to how students should prepare for campus placements. I've been doing campus recruiting for the last 15 years. So I have also seen this process evolve. The way it was done 5 years back or 10 years back is not the way it is done today, right? So first things first, college life gets over, right? The moment you land up into corporate, you're employed, you're a working professional, this is your first job, first offer, right? And your first day at work. So college life is over. So what two important traits that you should keep in mind are discipline and punctuality. First things first, right? When I mean discipline, it's not about or punctuality. It's not only about, going to office on time or, finishing work on time. It's also about discipline of work, right? Attending your meetings on time, giving your deliverables on time. There are deadlines that all of you have to respect, right? If a deliverable is planned for a Friday, whatever date, right, it has to be done on a Friday. So yeah, reporting on time, attending all your meetings and calls on time, delivering your work on time, right? You cannot take things for granted, right? Your managers, your supervisors, your buddies are not going to be happy about it, right? It is serious work. All of you will be assigned a set of KRAs, key result areas, KPIs, key performance indicators, against which you'll have to deliver, right? And all the work that each one of you do is tied to a larger goal, to the mission of the organization, to the vision of the organization, to a customer requirement, right? So it's very important to follow a certain discipline. You cannot sleep whenever you want, wake up whenever you want, right? Uh, not dress appropriately and all that stuff. College life is very different. Corporate life means serious work. So that's the first point that I wanted to cover. Beyond the discipline and punctuality, right? Let's talk about dressing and grooming, right? Every organization, guys, wherever you get placed, please take the time to go through the dress code policy or the code of conduct policy, right? And I'll tell you what that means. A dress code policy will define, which of these days are formals in the organization, where you can wear smart casuals, which day you can wear casuals. Please dress accordingly. Hair all done up, right? We cannot go with that funky, wild look, right? And say, yo, you're at work. I don't think so, except on fun Fridays. But yes, dressing and grooming is that important. A code of conduct defines guidelines. What kind of behavior is permissible in the organization? What are the rules? What are the policies? What are the guidelines you should follow? Say, for example, one of the basic traits or core values that any organization follows is mutual respect for each other, right? Proper communication, mutual respect, teamwork, collaboration, customer first. These are some of the values, right? So it will all be defined in the code of conduct as to how you have to behave, right? Yeah, you may be able to do yo on a Friday, but maybe not every day, right? So dressing, grooming, carrying yourself, right? You're a working professional now. You're not a college student anymore, right? You have a team, you have a boss, you will have a buddy, you're working in a group, right? So now you're a working professional. So the maturity level also needs to grow higher or go higher, right? That's the second thing I wanted to talk about. Next, in an organization, wherever you join, right? Small, medium, large, it is very important to work on your time management and prioritization, right? We all talk about work-life balance, and as far as I'm concerned, I don't think so there is something called work-life balance. It is work-life integration. How well do you manage your work and how well do you manage your life? How do we manage prioritization and time management? You will be assigned a set of tasks, right? And each of these tasks will have deadlines, will have deliverables, right? So it is important for you every morning, or maybe before you go to bed, for the next morning, make an activity checklist, right? What are the tasks that you need to do? Which has, a near deadline, or which has a farther deadline, which needs to be done now, which can be done tomorrow, which can be done later. So please make an activity checklist and prioritize your work. And it has to be based on your manager's prioritization. Your prioritization and your manager's prioritization cannot be different. He or she will tell you what should be the order of work, which needs more attention, which needs more focus, which needs more time, which is more urgent, which is more important. So please prioritize your work, right? Time management now. If you have 5 tasks, right, you need to, or 4 or 3, whatever the number is, right? You need to divide your time as to how you are going to contribute to each of these, right? You cannot completely focus on one and let the others drop, right? It has to be multitasking. It has to be parallel tasking, right? So which hour of the day you want to do X versus which hour of the day you want to do Y, right? Different tasks, which requires individual contribution, which means maybe you can do it late in the evening or maybe in the evening. Which task requires group work, teamwork, which means you need other people in the team to be with you. So please decide and manage your time accordingly. Each task, each activity, each deliverable has to be time bound, has to be time managed. Right? So prioritization and time management are very, very important. Yeah. The next theme, yeah, you must have done sports activities, extracurricular activities. I'm sure each one of you has played certain roles. Somebody must could have been a team player, somebody must have been a team leader, somebody is an individual contributor, somebody is a group leader. Even in an office environment, right? Working in a team is very important. How do different cultures, different cities, different nationalities, different competence level, different technical skills come together and work as a team, right? So being a team player, having a good relationship with everyone, understanding from them, learning from them, taking their guidance, performing is very important. All of us are a part of a team, right? The team could be small, the team could be large. And how do you collaborate, right? So for example, at your college level, you must have collaborated for a particular event, right? Where you got 10 people together and all of you worked as a team and delivered a successful output, sorry, right? It's the same in an office environment. Certain projects require you to work as a team, right? You cannot do your individual bit and walk away, right? So teamwork is very important. How do two people complement each other? How do you divide work? How do you collaborate? How do your skills complement somebody else's skills? How does somebody else's knowledge complement your knowledge, right? So it's all about collaboration. How do you make that particular task, that particular activity successful? Teamwork and collaboration are very important traits in every organization, right? Even an organization, right? No matter how small or big it is a team. It is one big family, right? Which works towards a common goal. Yeah. Okay. Another important aspect would be skills, right? Apart from the technical skills or the management skills that you have, it is very important to build on your soft skills, on your business skills, right? When I say soft skills is not only communication. Guys, sorry. Soft skills is everything. It's your communication, it's your maturity, it's your empathy, it's your resilience, it's your ability, it's your interpersonal skills, presentation skills. All of these are soft skills. How do you exhibit these traits, right? While working in a team, while working in an organization. So build on those skills. If somebody is weak, right? English happens to be a second language for a lot of us, right? Practice, practice. Read a lot, try to write a lot, practice with people at home, practice with people in your college, practice language skills, because it's very important. All the organizations are global. Yeah. In good English, good communication, good verbatim, good grammar is very important. Most of these companies also have an English test, right? It's called the TOEFL test, which is required for going on site, right? So communication and language skills are very important. Yeah, those form part of soft skills. When you talk about your business skills, right? Team management, thought leadership, again, collaboration, group work, all of this, how do you hone these skills, right? How do you work on these skills? How do you exhibit those behaviors? And those skills are very important to succeed in any organization, right? Those are the ones which will be a differentiator. Say, for example, you're very good at leading something or collaborating with people and getting the output, right? Your manager will have that faith. Okay, let's give it to, say, I don't know, I'm just picking a name. Let's give it to Ashish Gupta. If you give him this particular task, I know that he will gather the right set of people, get the problem solved, and deliver a successful output, right? So those business skills are also very, very important. Next aspect, that I wanted to touch upon, I did touch upon a little bit on empathy. right? Empathy and respect, right? Any organization, guys, it is important to understand the other person's situation, the other person's point of view, right? If somebody is saying, I have not been able to do a particular task, activity, assignment, why? What has been the challenge? How can you help the person with the challenge? How can you help resolve his problems? How can you probably pass on that piece of work to somebody else who's in a better position to do it, right? Using condescending words, using harsh language, being rude, disrespecting your co-workers, disrespecting your managers is a complete no-no. It shows what kind of core values you have as a human being, right? All of us are born with a set of values. All of us are brought up with a set of values, right? So your personal values, right, are very important. And they also have to align with the organization values, right? So empathy, respect at work, proper communication is very important. You have no right to scream or shout at anybody. Tomorrow you will grow up to become uh, team leaders, managers, right? Every work, every piece of work that is assigned has to be done with utmost professionalism. There is no need to burn bridges. There is no need to create chaos at work. Every problem can be solved. Raise the quality of your argument, not your voice, right? That is very important. So those two characteristics are very important in a corporate setup. Yeah. I did mention about values. Now let's talk about values, right? Every organization has core values, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of organizations have customer first as core value, people first as core values. Do you align to those core values? If not, you have to make efforts to align to those core values. Unless you align to the values of the organization, you will not succeed. Plain and simple. There's no better truth than that, because everybody in that organization is carrying out their roles, their job, their responsibilities, keeping the core values of the organization in mind. Whether it is people first, or is it execution excellence, or it's customer first, or it is thought leadership, whatever it is very important for you as an individual to align with the core values of the organization. A lot of times you will realize that's one of the reasons why people join a certain place, because you identify with the culture, you identify with the core values, you've read about it, you've heard about it, you've heard from your seniors, right? So your personal values align to an organization's core values. Even if they do not, once you join, it is important that you align to those core values, right? Because those core values are the heart of any organization. Every organization is built on a certain set of core values, right? It's, what do I say? It's a DNA. It's a DNA of an organization, right? Okay. After values, let's talk about subordinate reporter relationship, subordinate manager relationship. Guys, people say that, bosses are bad, or managers are bad, or etc., etc., etc. Please understand, in your first job or in any job, for right now, it's going to be your first job, your manager is the most important factor. He is your anchor. He is your buddy. He is your guide. He is responsible for your success. Your success is his success, and his success is the organization's success, right? So how you build that rapport with your supervisor, with your manager, is very, very important. Try to understand. It will not happen overnight. It's a journey. It's a journey which two personalities undergo, right? So if I am a fresher and I've joined a new organization, I have been assigned to a particular manager, right? I am a different personality, different set of values of bringing. He or she is a different individual altogether. It takes time. It takes effort to understand each other, to understand his behavior, to understand the working style, to understand his leadership, to understand his thought process, his or her, right? It takes time. Invest in that relationship. He is your biggest success factor. If you've been able to crack that relationship, how do you crack that relationship? By number one, performing on time. Number two, delivering on time. Number three, going the extra mile. Number four, taking extra initiatives. Number five, showing enthusiasm towards work. All these things. How do you build trust? How do you build trust with your manager to say, hey, look, I'm a good resource, you can depend on me, and I will deliver on time every time. Yeah. So invest in that relationship. Show him your performance, show him your commitment, your enthusiasm, power of your uh, intellect, your research, your data gathering, whatever work you've been assigned, your problem solving, your decision making. How did you solve challenges? How did you ask for help? Did you reach out to him? You have to invest in that relationship. He is the person who can make you or break you. That's your biggest success factor, because your manager is responsible for your growth, for your career growth. He's your best your career guide, right? If you do well enough. If you don't do well, he's the one who will guide you. And please do not be afraid to ask for help, right? It's your first job. You're learning on the job, right? Google is always there to help, internet is always there to help, but there's no harm in asking for help with your peers, with your colleagues, with your manager, rather than pushing the work away or not doing the job or shying away from it. Doesn't help. Again, I'm repeating myself, invest in that relationship. And it will take time. It can take a month, it can take 2 months, it can take 3 months. But if you are able to crack that relationship, you're able to build that trust, that confidence with your supervisor, your journey in any corporate will be very easy, because he is your guide, he will be your mentor, he will be responsible for your promotions, progressions, appraisal. And I'm not saying invest in that relationship because he's responsible for your promotions or appraisal. Invest in that relationship because he is your career guide in the organization. He will help you grow. Yeah. So it's very important to establish that connect. Yeah. Now, after you've established that connect with your manager, right? How do you network for success within the organization? Learning happens everywhere. Any corner, any desk, any conference room, anybody, right? Networking for success. When I say network for success, talk to people within the company, build relationships apart from your manager, talk to your peers, talk to cross-functional teams, talk to cross-functional managers, right? Understand the DNA of the organization, understand cultures, be curious, ask questions, but network, build your connections. And I'm not saying, go to LinkedIn or go to some social media and start sending, connection requests. Get to know people, understand the culture from them, understand the organization growth, understand the journey, right? Talk to people, ask for mentorship, ask for help, right? There are a lot of people who would be willing to help. If you're not able to crack something, your manager is not the only person who can help. There are other people in the organization who can offer help, right? It's just that you have to reach out. And please don't think that you will be termed as dumb, as foolish, as I don't know, as stupid or whatsoever. The fact that you reached out to ask for help itself means that you're eager to finish the job, you're eager to learn, you're eager to know how to crack this problem, you're eager to know how to solve it. Yeah. So network with different people from different teams, cross-functional teams or within the team, so that people know you. You have to establish yourself as a, because when freshers are hired, right, they're hired in hundreds, thousands. I have myself hired freshers in batches of 700, 800 every year, or 3,000 every year for a particular organization. So how do you stand out in that 3,000 people? How do you stand out in that 800 batch that I've taken across different functions? Or how do you stand out in a crowd of 3,000, right? And when we hire across functions, right? Sales, pre-sales, non-sales, technical, IT, non-IT, support functions, everything. So how do you stand out within your group? So if you network, you connect with people, people know you, right? It's very important. Networking is an important part. Understanding the organization culture is an important part. Yeah, that was another aspect I wanted to talk about. Another thing that you should keep very important, very important. Like I said, learning doesn't stop now. Learning happens everywhere. Learning happens till the time you die, right? Keeping a watch on the industry trends, reading about what's happening in the market, reading about your industry trends, staying updated about the current trends is very important. That will not only help you build your intellect, build your IQ, enhance your IQ, but that also it will help in your job role, right? You're working for a particular customer, say somebody in China, right? Do you know how China operates? Just an example. China is just an example, or Germany, or Latam, right? Do you know how these countries operate? When I say operate or how corporates operate, what's the culture? What are people like, right? What how do they behave, right? It's very important to know about culture, know about geographies, current trends, whichever technology you are part of, whichever domain you are part of. Say I'm part of HR. What's happening in the industry? Right? People are talking about, say, moonlighting. People are talking about quiet quitting. People are talking about a lot of stuff happening in HR. Right? People are talking about no bell curves. Right? So you should know what's happening in your domain, in your field, in your side of the industry. If you're with IT, if you're with manufacturing, FMCG, it is extremely important to stay updated with the current industry trends. That's how you keep yourself updated, and that's how you will be able to add value to your work, right? Rather than following classical approaches or traditional methods of working, right? Please read, learn. That would be my advice. Yeah. Apart from that, uh, I think going beyond the call of duty. Guys, gone are those days. I mean, I wouldn't comment, but yes, when I started my career, we were, I mean, a couple of you on this Zoom meeting, we were ready to give it up 14 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours a day. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not giving a message to say we should work 18 hours a day or 14 hours a day or 15 hours a day. But we were all up to do all of that. Going beyond the call of duty. I'm not saying you have to stretch every day or you have to do it every day, but whenever there is a need in the project, in the organization, or by your manager, right? Or a particular customer, right? Going that extra mile, going beyond the call of duty is something that you will always be remembered for, appreciated for, rewarded for. And that also will build your own credibility within the organization, right? So as a manager, I ask, say, for example, 5 people, can you do this for me? It will require another 2 hours, 3 hours of effort out of, or maybe I asked 15 people, right? Out of those 15 people, one person said, yes, Shikha ma'am, I will do it. Please assign it to me. That person stands out for me, right? That person was there in need when I needed. That person was there for me when I needed him or her, right? So going beyond the call of duty, number one, it builds your own credibility. It will build your own confidence. It will add to your own learning. Plus, it will also lead to appreciation, recognition, reward, and all this pays off. Sooner or later, it will pay off. You will be you will be recognized by people within your team, recognized at the org level. It will lead you to more opportunities, yeah, within the organization, moving to cross-functional roles, moving to different teams, right? So all these lead to opportunities for growth, right? Going beyond the call of duty is so very important. I mean, yes, I know we all have a life and we need to balance it out, but guys, the first few years of your career, yeah, when I say few, I really don't mean few. 0 to 7, 8, 10 years of your career are those formative years, right? When you're exploring, when you're learning, when you're growing, when you're experimenting with a lot of stuff. So if you don't do extra, or if you don't do more, or if you don't do more in depth, how will you be ahead of the race? And I'm sure all of us want to be number one, right? All of us want to be ahead of this race. All of us want to be, fast promoters, fast trackers, right? We love to be appreciated. We love to be rewarded. So going that extra mile will give you that edge. Yeah, the messaging is not to say, please work 14 hours every day and oh no. But yes, whenever your work requires you to be there, please be there. I think that's another very important aspect. And I know whenever you guys have assignments to do, or you have exams the next morning or the next afternoon, most of you are studying till 4 o'clock in the morning, or maybe 5 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Which you normally don't do on a normal day. Maybe you shut shop at 11 or 12 in the night. But because you want good marks, because you want a rank, you want a distinction, or you want good marks in your project, you put in that extra hours, 3, 4, 5 hours of hard work, of dedication to shine through, right? Same logic applies in corporate, right? So whenever the project needs you, or your manager needs you, or your team needs you, right? It is very important to be aware. I will share a personal experience in one of these organizations during the appraisal time, right? My team and I think it was about 9 days, 9 working days. We worked till 4 in the morning every single day. We would order food, have dinner in the office, finish out, and go home at 4 in the morning, and again come back at 9:30 because we wanted to meet a certain deadline. That is called real commitment. That is called real teamwork. All of us, I think we were 12 of us, all 12 of us, and we were spread across geographies, Bangalore, Pune, Delhi, yeah, and Chennai. All 12, 13 of us on conference calls because we had to finish something, and we met the deadline and we emerged in the top 3 winners for that particular task, right? So that's real commitment when everybody comes together. And it's not funny. Go home at 4, have a short sleep, have a shower, and then again report back to work at 9:30, and then again go back at 4 o'clock. 9 continuous days. And that's not the advice I'm giving to all of you that you should do. But then when you do something with that kind of commitment and dedication, the human body can stretch that much, right? And all of us had this, for the lack of a better word, josh, ki karna hai to karna hai. We have to do it. And we will do it. We will not fail. We will meet that deadline. We did it. So whenever it's a call of duty, don't shy away, right? It'll come back to you in many folds in form of recognition, appreciation, rewards, and stuff like that. I would want to take a pause here and see if there are any questions, thoughts that the participants would like to share. Nothing? Okay, I'm not sure if everybody is unmuted. All right. Yeah, going beyond the call of duty, that's what we were talking about. Yeah, these are a couple of tips from, and I've seen from my personal experience, the people from a batch of freshers, 100 freshers, 200, 300, there are those 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 bright shining stars who will, and that's my next point, who will always take initiative, right? In a particular group activity or an individual activity or a task or a deliverable, who will always take initiative and say, ma'am, I will do it. Assign it to me, or I want to do it, or I want to explore, or I want to deliver, right? So how do you grow? How do you succeed? By taking initiative, right? For any manager, right? He's got assigned 20 people. For him, all 20 of them are equals, right? Nobody is different. He's picked all of them from the same campus, or maybe even different campuses, but all are equals because they've joined on the same day, they've joined for the same job role. their education background is same, right? Everything is same. So how does he differentiate who stands out or who doesn't, or who is better than the other, and stuff like that? So how do you make your mark? Always take initiative. It might mean a little more work, right? But taking initiative will, again, like I said, will open up many more opportunities. Good work, one of my managers told me in my early days, good work only means more work. Yeah. So if you're taking initiative and if you're performing well, it'll give you many more assignments, it'll give you more opportunities, it'll give you more work, and that adds to your CV value, that adds to your growth, right? Never shy away to say, I can't do it, or I cannot do it, or I don't want to do it, or who's going to put in those extra hours. Taking initiative as a fresher is very, very important. I think not only as a fresher, as a working professional, it's very important. That's how you stand out in the crowd, right? That's another point that I wanted to touch upon. Another thing that I've seen from my own experience, right? When you when you address this bunch of freshers, especially in the group discussion bit, right? All of us are uh, yeah, benchmarking people against different parameters: attitude, communication, vocabulary, data, statistics, knowledge, IQ, blah 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 blah. One of the things that you should keep in mind is, and like I'm just touching upon that, one of the things that you should keep in mind is anybody who speaks the most, right, does not win the group discussion, or does not win the seat in the corporate, right? Just the way I talked about mutual respect, I talked about collaboration, I talked about teamwork, right? Even to get a seat or to get an offer letter in any organization, those values are important that you exhibited in the group discussion, right? Don't make it a fish market, right? Respect, collaborate, give space, give time to people, right? Make it a very healthy discussion. That is what each organization is looking at, right? Do you have those leadership qualities? Do you have those traits which call out that you're a team player? Yeah. Let's talk about leadership qualities, right? I know you must be thinking, we have got no work experience, right? We've just done internships. uh, how do we build, or how do we define leadership qualities, right? Leadership qualities, it's not necessary that they get defined only when you join a corporate. Like I said, when you do a lot of extracurricular activities, right, in your colleges, in your college, sorry, right? How do you deliver to a successful outcome? Say you're organizing a fest, say you're organizing, I don't know, there are multiple activities. One person alone cannot do it. So how do you decide who's going to lead this? One, by experience, who's a leader material. Second, by the person who takes initiative to do it. How this person brings everybody together. So leadership is not only bringing people together and delivering. Leadership is all about leading by example, right? So you're not the boss who's giving directions to 10 other people saying that 1, 2, 3, you do this, and that's how we go about it. Leadership is purely leading by example. Show the way, right? Somebody who, say you're having a problem, or one of your peers is having a problem, how do you help people? How do you show that you're a leader? You show the person how to do the task. You lead by example. That's called leadership, right? How do you build those qualities? You will join a team, you will join a project, there will be 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people in a project, right? How do you emerge as a leader in that project? Somebody is struggling with some coding problem, somebody is stuck with some technical issue, somebody is stuck with some UAT, right? How do you become a leader? By demonstrating as to how to solve the problem, right? You become a leader by showing the way, by not telling people what to do things, by showing people how to do things. Lead by example. right? That's how you build leadership qualities. It could be a problem, it could be a decision making, it could be a task, it could be an assignment, right? How will people have that faith in you? Okay, so next time, say, I don't know, I'm just picking a name, say Preeti exhibited those qualities, right? Next time somebody is in trouble, they will directly walk up to Preeti and say, please help me like you did last time, or can I rely on you for your support? So building leadership qualities is showing how to do things. Yeah, doing it yourself, right? A leader is not somebody who only gives directions. A leader is somebody who hand in hand with the team, right? Like I gave this example of myself and team working for 9 consecutive working days, right? All of us together. I had this option of, sitting at home and getting all the other, 12, 13 people to do so. No, you are with them. You are, see, if you say a hand has 5 fingers, and if the leader is the thumb of the hand, right, the thumb is attached to the hand, right? You cannot separate the thumb and say, fingers, you do all the work. You are with them, right? For them, by them, with them, right? That's how you become a leader. It's always, that's how people trust you, that's how people approach you, that's how people uh, will walk up to you and say, look, I have a problem. You are this single support people can fall back on. So that's how you build leadership in yourself. And freshers today, I mean, are mind-blowing, seriously, with the kind of energy, with the kind of enthusiasm all of you have, right? With the kind of tech-savvy folks you are, right? All of you. I mean, people 20 years back were not so tech-savvy, but today the millennial generation is all over the technology, all over. You're so tech-savvy. You can probably change the thought process of a senior leader in the organization because you're that much read, because you know how to use a lot of tools, you know how to deal with social media, you know how to do different sort of branding, right? So it is very easy for you to build in those leadership qualities. You have the technology edge with you, right? So that's probably the last thing I wanted to talk about. uh, I would open the floor for questions. Happy to hear your thoughts, suggestions, anything you may want to share with me. Arpita?
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any questions? I mean, we can.
Just a minute, ma'am. Divya, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Wow, what a wonderful knowledge given by you, ma'am. I hope our audience learned many new things from this session. Once again, I would like to thank you for joining us and sharing your experience, your precious time and knowledge with us. Ma'am, there are a few questions which our audience
With your
permission, shall we start?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Ma'am, my first question will be, how can new graduates leverage their academic knowledge and skills to add value in a corporate setting?
Fantastic question. Now, new graduates have a lot of experience in terms of, one, the education they go through. Number two, the projects that they do. Number three, the internship that they do, right? How much of depth, right? How much of knowledge, how much of learning that they get in those internships, in those projects, right? How many skills are they able to build, or they are able to develop, right? That's something that is very useful to corporate. See, when I scan a CV, right, a campus, I know most of the campuses have the same format of a resume, right? The two things that I look at, two major blocks that I look at and decide whether I should should be talking to this person or not. One is one block which talks about projects and internships, right? Which is all your technical knowledge, domain knowledge, work related knowledge, whatever you have. And the second block is your extracurricular activities, which which highlights your behavioral competencies, right? Whether you're a team player, you're a leader, you're a blah blah blah, whatever, right? Defines you as a person, right? So all the time that they spend doing their project and their internships, whatever knowledge they are gaining, that knowledge can be put to practical use. If it's technical knowledge, it can be very well put to use in the project that they're working, because they will get hired for the same technology project. If it is domain knowledge, then that knowledge again can be put to use during their work. Say somebody is from HR, right? We read so much about HR during our studies, right? HR or marketing or operations. Why can't we apply some of those marketing concepts in practice? Why can't we apply those HR concepts or operations concepts or finance concepts, right, to our work environment? We can, right? Say, for example, one of the things that we learn is Maslow hierarchy of needs. We're actually doing an employee survey, pulse survey, right? You know what is the hierarchy of needs. Can you map that model to, your pulse survey? For example, right? So whatever knowledge you gain during your studies, see if there is a mapping in your practical work space. And that could be helpful, right? Maslow's needs of hierarchy of needs, is just one example, right? We read a lot about performance management, right? There are different models of performance management, right? What model is your organization following? Is that model effective? Do you need to change that model? Can you tweak that model to suit the current market conditions, right? All of that can be applied, but yes, it has to be thought through, right? It has to be discussed with your supervisor. But even before we try to implement a change or bring a change in any of the practices, policies, or guidelines, it is very important to understand the organization, right? Give it a few months, understand how the system runs, understand where are the loopholes, and then start fixing them with your knowledge, with whatever intellect you have. I hope that answers.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, the second question would be, what are some essential skills and qualities that individuals should develop or enhance to succeed in the corporate world?
There is no magic formula to succeed. I'll tell you what has worked for me. And maybe it may not work for everyone, or yeah. It is all about prioritization, especially with women, right? And I'm making it a little gender biased here, right? Women get pulled in a lot of things, right? You get married, you have to start a family and responsibilities and all of that. It is all about, number one, prioritization, number two, focus. What is it that you want? Yeah, Divya. And Divya, I'm just taking your name. Do you want a job? Yeah, a 9 to 6 job, which gives you a salary, which runs your house, right? Or do you want a career, right? Which is your aspiration, which is something you always wanted to do. You want to grow, you want to learn, and you want to reach a leadership position. So certain qualities, number one would be clear whether, number one is whether you need a job or you need a career. If you need a job, you're okay. You can work in any organization, earn a decent salary, be happy, and live life. But if you want a career, a couple of things that I called out. Number one, taking initiatives. Number two, networking for success. Number three, attention to detail, focus, prioritization, time management. Yeah. All these are aspects of success. Number four, going the extra mile, right? Taking initiatives, going the extra mile, helping cross-functional teams, right? Showing your, taking part in different showing your intellect, taking part in different organizational level activities, right? Those are certain qualities which will always keep you on the top, because you will then get recognition at different levels, right? There are a lot of organizations who launch these projects, right, which are open to anyone. You can pick up and run with it, or there are crack teams, SWAT teams, which are built to achieve certain organization goals. Participate in those SWAT teams, participate in those assignments, those projects, those group work, right? So that quality, if you talk about behavior qualities, is you have to be motivated, you have to be self-driven, you have to be focused, you have to prioritize your career, sometimes over family, sometimes over friends, sometimes over a lot of other things, right? You want a career, so you have to give it your 100%. When the organization is giving you, or giving us, sorry, 100% salary, right? That 100% commitment, dedication, performance, and delivery has to be there, right? They're investing in you. So it is time you invest in them, right? Every organization hires people to get some return on investment, right? So it is, if they are giving you that 100% commitment of a good role, a good salary, a good project, right? It is my turn to give them 100% commitment. So those are those traits: focus, right? And how serious are you about your career? It's all about that, nothing else. If you're serious about it, you will deprioritize, like I said, sometimes family, sometimes friends, sometimes adventures, exploration, I don't know, picnics, whatever you call it, parties, but you will prioritize work, because you know you want to grow. You've chalked out a growth path for yourself, right? Your manager is supporting you. You're very clear in the direction you want to move, right? So it's all about your focus of how you want to progress in life. That's how I would put it.
That was a very good piece of advice, ma'am. Thank you so much for answering these questions. Now I would like to request everyone to kindly open the camera for a snapshot.
And I will share my LinkedIn profile in the chat group here. Anybody who wants to
Yes,
connect for any advice, please feel free to DM me. I will be more than happy to help. Yeah. I wish the camera was
so
open.
again, I request everyone, please open the camera. Yes, sir.
It's nice talking to people rather than talking to a laptop screen.
Everyone, please open the camera. Today's we are happy to provide you additional support to you. Feedback link will be soon be shared in the chat box, and please fill this form within 6 hours. Thank you so much for cooperating. So stay connected to us for new learnings. I, Divya Jain, being host for the day, signing off. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone, and my best wishes to each one of you. Keep shining. Bye-bye.